Hey everybody, it's Ron and Ellie back with this week's edition of Ask Ron. First up this week is your favorite Californian, Marianne Nunez. She says, Ron, you said if I extend a lease option for another 6 months while increasing the rent, all I have to do is send an email to the tenant and make sure they receive it. What if I extend even longer and raise the purchase price with the rent payment? Can I still just email that to the tenant?
Well, you can, Marianne, but the tenant, if you're going to raise the rent price and all of that, you should get the tenant to agree. And if the tenant even sends you back an email that they agree with it, they're okay with it, then that's good enough, yes.
Okay.
This is the same Marianne that just got a big check, didn't she?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Next up is DL Cody from Massachusetts.
DL.
Haven't seen him in a while. He says, I've got a free and clear junker, and the owner will provide financing at 90% of the offered price.
Okay.
It's a total gut rehab, so I intend on flipping the contract to another rehabber.
Mm-hmm.
In order to protect the homeowner, should the rehabber be required to place a bond or put construction costs in escrow?
No. You're going to flip it to a rehabber, so what do you care about the homeowner? That's not your concern anymore, DL. If you're going to buy it with owner financing with a 5% down, I'm okay with that, but just make sure that price is low enough so that another investor will want to buy it from you, maybe even an owner occupant, if you can now pass on some terms to them. But what happens to the rehab is really not your concern. You're selling it as is, where is, no matter whom you sell it to.
Okay. Next up is Alan James in Florida.
Yeah.
He says, Ron, what can I do to entice a realtor to send me expired listings?
Realtors don't send you expired listings. You get a list of expired listings, and then you mail our yellow letter to them. And you're going to pay the realtor whatever they ask. It isn't going to be much, and many of them will do it absolutely free. So they'll have to go into the MLS and pull that list for you. And they can't refer them to you. They're not even their listings, so that was a wrong question, but I hope I gave you the right answer.
All right, last up this week is Tom Payton from Delaware.
Hey, Tom.
He says, I'm getting my first private lender for a deal, and I'm just a little confused. Can
Okay.
you tell me the steps to close a private money loan and the documents I'll need?
Yep. Well, step one is you got to get an oral commitment from the private lender. Step two, I would have him transfer that money to your attorney's escrow account a few days before you need a closing, and I'd tell him we're going to have a closing shortly. Go ahead and transfer the money and put him in touch with the attorney if he has questions. And then you have to get the instructions over to the attorney on exactly how the loan is to be written, like term and monthly payment and all of that, and who's the lender and so forth. And your attorney will take it from there. There is no appointment that your lender needs. Your lender will not go sit in front of the attorney. The attorney will send the lender docs. The lender will sign them and send them back to the attorney, and this should be done before the closing. It will be done before the attorney actually funds it. But you don't need to worry about any paperwork. That's all up to the attorney. You're never going to create anything that has anything to do with a private loan except give the attorney instructions. You're going to need fire insurance on the property, and you're going to need title insurance. And you can have your attorney order that for you as he does the closing. Fire insurance, you've got to get that insured, and you need to get a year's premium paid the day you close the loan on the property, naming your private lender. It's really not complicated at all. There's very little for you to do.
Okay, Ron, that's all the questions we have for you this week.
All right, guys. I'll see you next week. I expect you to get out there and get some deals done. Look at there, we're already a month into this year. So make February the best year so far. Get going. See you next week.